Cedric Maxwell podcast is powered by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Back with another episode of the Cedric Maxwell podcast. I am Josue alongside Cedric Maxwell, coming at you from Indianapolis, where the Boston Celtics are now one win away from the NBA Finals, Max. 114-111 the final score. An 18-point comeback for your Boston Celtics, as now the Indiana Pacers are up against the ropes. Max, did you see this one coming at all?
Well, I did. I thought that the Celtics could play well, but you look at Indiana, they came out and they played extremely well. Nembhard, guys like that shot the ball extremely well. And I like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown said, hey, we got Michael Jordan playing against us, so these guys couldn't miss a freaking shot.
Effing Michael Jordan out there.
So right. I think that, they played well, but the Celtics, the thing that they did, they were able to take the weight. Now, I've always said that about players when you play in somebody else's home. That initial burst that they have, you have to withstand that. Right. Celtics were able to withstand that. Pacers had one opportunity. They could have got it over 20, and then all of a sudden the Celtics ran off 8 straight points, and then it was nip and tuck from then on.
In that fourth quarter, that's where everything really changed. Well, I guess it started technically in that third quarter, but to me, it was the defense. It was staying with it. I did get a little concerned when Derek White, I felt like, was just like very adamant about wanting to get a three-pointer down. I'm just like, wait a minute, you don't have to seek out threes quite yet. It's still plenty of time, but it was the defense that I think the Celtics were able to capitalize off of, and some huge baskets. Jason Tatum hitting threes. Al Horford, man, the pass from Tatum to Horford to hit that three-pointer, and then Drew Holiday between the three-point play, the steal on Nembhard that pretty much sealed it, and of course Aaron Nesmith had a chance to tie it at the end, but went off the rim, and the Boston Celtics complete the comeback, man. Best game of the season, if you ask me.
It was a surreal moment for the Celtics, defending the basketball, scoring the basketball, and here's the dude, Joe Mazzulla gets full marks again. Yeah. Jason Tatum said, Joe said, look, guys, we're going to have to get back in this thing one shot at a time. Don't worry about it. Take your time. And it's a 12-point game. We can't get it all back in one shot. Right. So I think that Joe Mazzulla, to his credit, kept his troops really calm.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's the thing. I feel like this team, they were ready for this moment. People can say what they want about the game twos and losing against the Cavs and the Heat, but when it comes down to it, when they know that they had a chance to grab a 3-0 lead, everyone buckled down defensively. I feel like everyone was just focused, and it got to the point where the Indiana Pacers felt that pressure. And when I saw them putting on those turnovers, man, I was like, okay, this is it. You have to capitalize on this, and they did.
Here's the thing. People keep thinking that this is last year's Celtic team.
Good point.
Or the Celtics team a couple years ago. This is a different team. Right. Because you have Drew Holiday. You have a Derek White who's been there and done that. So this is a completely different looking team, the way they play, the way they dominate on the defensive end, and they just made some plays that were surreal.
Is this thing over?
Stick a fork in them.
4-0? So we get the brooms out?
Get the brooms out. I think that Indiana loses, and it's psychology now. Psychology says, look, I don't want to go back to Boston and get my ass kicked. I'm already home. Why not just sleep in my own bed? I think the Pacers will come out. They'll play well for the first couple of minutes, but then they're going to let go of the rope in the second half, and the Celtics go ahead and walk away with it.
And they got to finish the job, though, Max. That's the key. Same type of focus, same approach, because like you said, Max, you go into the second half, the Celtics build a double-digit lead. It's hard to just muster the energy or muster the focus if you're the Indiana Pacers, right, to say, okay, you know what? Maybe we don't have to pack our stuff tonight. Maybe I can just clear my locker, get ready for the offseason, and you know what? The Boston Celtics, they're a worthy opponent. That could very well happen in Game 4 for sure.
Well, here's the thing that you and I haven't talked about. Jaylen Brown's shot in the first game against the Pacers to tie it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is that perhaps the greatest shot in Celtic history?
It could be up there, Max, but
what?
I'm trying to think of what would compete with it.
You tell me another shot. I remember Larry Bird coming down against Philadelphia, knocking down a shot to win the basketball game or to go ahead by one in 1981. But this shot was even tougher with the circumstances, him in the corner, the coffin corner. You had all the Pacer players on his backside. Yeah. You had one in front of him. The line was there. He couldn't go any further. It was a remarkable shot that probably is going to go down in history to me as the greatest shot in Boston Celtic history.
The only one that comes to mind is DJ. That's because everyone talks about the Larry Bird steal, but everyone forgets how hard it is to make that layup in transition like that.
Not like that.
That's the only one I could think of.
Okay, then that wasn't.
That's the only one I could really. That's the first one that comes to mind.
That was a layup.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a layup.
Contested,
for Dennis Johnson.
but yeah,
it was
right.
contested, but it was a layup for Dennis Johnson. I'm talking about a guy in the dead coffin corner.
Drake Mays behind you.
Shooting a three with all the pressure. If you don't make that shot, you can't tie this basketball game up. That, to me, that's what made it such an incredible shot. I'm not taking anything from, Cousy, Russell, all those people, Larry Bird, anybody. Right. But that shot alone, that shot was surreal. I mean, only shot I can think about that in NBA history might have been Ray Allen's shot to tie it up with Miami.
Get those ropes out of here, he said, when they had the ropes ready for the Celtics championship.
And that shot maybe was tougher in the fact that he didn't get a chance to look down at his feet.
That's true.
Brown did get a chance to look to see where he was at when he went to catch the basketball. Yeah. Ray Allen did not get a chance to do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to see if I can get Ray Allen on to dispute this one shot.
See what he thinks.
I would love to hear what he had to say.
Well, in Celtics history, you might have a good point there because not only do you have all those people around you, the pressure, the fact that he was that open to begin with, right? But then Drew Holiday to get the inbound pass in. And like he said to the reporters after the game, he told himself before he even caught the ball, do not miss this shot. And of course he did it. Mm-hmm. And I like your elevator metaphor that you talked about before we started recording, where you were like, it's like being surrounded by a bunch of people and you have to focus. And it looked like he was trying to absorb contact as well. So he kind of went up a little awkward, but still had the touch. It's almost like when Jalen does this thing when he shoots. After he lets it go, he lets it up like that. It's almost like a little salt thing or something, like Salt Bay. But man, to have that focus, that is not easy right there.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
To see him shoot and knock down that shot was absolutely unreal.
And that was game 3. Oh no, excuse me. That was game 2.
Game 1.
Was that game 1? That was game 1. You're right. Game 1, man. This whole week's been going by so fast. That's right. Game 1. Celtics took care of business in game 2, but to go down 18 in their house where they were undefeated and to have the folk, man, Al Horford, man, we got to talk about Al. The first NBA player at his age to drain 7 3-pointers in that one, tied a career high. It seemed like he didn't want to give up, man. He was like, listen, I'm not going to go, we're not going down, or we're not going to be up 2-1 after this. We're going for 3-0. We're going to put him against the ropes and get this thing done. And I'm glad Joe Mazzulla didn't take him out of the mix there, because I know Nembhard was getting him on the switch. Guys were attacking the paint with ease. And I'm like, wait, give Al a little bit of help, a little resistance, and they'll be all right. And Joe Mazzulla going with the zone defense, that really helped.
Well, even picking up more on that particular game was the fact just all the pressure that was on Jason Tatum.
Yeah, that's true.
Jason Tatum came up with one of his all-star performances, a performance that in NBA history hadn't been done.
Never been
with
done.
That many assists, that many points, and
0 turnovers.
No turnovers in that particular situation. So I liked everything about that game. I liked the circumstances. I just, that's a team, that's a game that wins you a championship, that brings you together. Everybody said, well, the Celtics have had nothing at all go wrong. No critical points. Well, that was a critical point. They had to execute fully to get that game and to go ahead. And then to see the steal that Drew Holiday made.
Drew Holiday steal, man.
And the 3-point play that Drew Holiday made.
Man. Tough, man.
Woo.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that'll win you a championship for sure, man. Jason Tatum, 35 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and like you said, 0 turnovers. The first NBA player to have a stat line like that. And let me ask you this, Max. Does this finally quiet his critics? Because they've been on his case since this damn playoff started, man.
Not quiet Josue.
Only the ring will do it, right?
Only time he gets the ring. Yeah. I'll let you guys on in something. All right, this is game 4 is tomorrow. Right. Well, yours truly, I got to go over there at 3 o'clock tomorrow to go over rehearsal to receive the trophy, Bob Cousy trophy.
Eastern Conference Championship.
Eastern Conference Champion trophy. So it'll be kind of fun thinking about it, going over there tomorrow, because we have to rehearse me picking it up and what I might say. You guys already know what I'm going to say. How about them damn Celtics?
Yo, bring it back. Bring it back from 2 years ago.
That's how that's going to go.
Bring it back from 2 years ago. We got the T-shirts back out, too. We'll do the whole 9. But the fact that the championship trophy, Eastern Conference Championship trophy, will be in the building, man. Like we said before we started recording, this thing happened in a hurry.
We'll give you another one. The first 25 people that contact us Send us your address.
I like this.
You'll get
some free.
How about that damn Celtic
free
T-shirt?
Stuff.
You'll get it coming to you. So make sure you get the information out to us so we can get these T-shirts to you.
Episode of the Cedric Maxwell podcast is powered by PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less and 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes PrizePicks the #1 sports app. This week on PrizePicks, I'm selecting Derek White for more than 4.5 assists. It's that easy. Download the app today and use the code CLNS for a first deposit up to $100. That's CLNS for a first deposit up to $100. Download PrizePicks today and make sure you use the promo code CLNS.
Okay, so now we got the national heads looking across the Western Conference, and we were talking about this before we started recording, right? I mean, last week it was the Denver Nuggets. The Celtics are great, but look out for Denver. They're not going to beat Denver in the finals. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, the Minnesota Timberwolves, man, that's a team that's going to beat the Celtics. Now it's the Dallas Mavericks this week.
Anybody but the Celtics.
What's up with that, Max? I know they're up 2-0, but damn.
Well, you got some
Can they get the benefit of the doubt?
You got some haters out here in the world, and that's why if you're the Celtics, you
Crazy.
just have to prove the point
that
you're the best team right now in the world. I got a chance to talk to Joe Mazzulla's wife a little bit, and she was like, Joe wants this so bad. And I said, well, as a wife, she said, well, I used to coach, so I understand. And see, she said, Joe and I will sit down from time to time, and we'll go over film, and we'll talk about game situations.
Right.
To me, which is, if you get your best friend alongside of you, and you had kids with her, I don't know how I can get any better as a person that you would trust.
You can break down basketball.
That you can break down basketball.
Joe Mazzulla proposed right away. I bet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, if you're Joe Mazzulla, you hear it too. You feel it too. You feel the pressure for guys like Tatum and Brown. Remember, he was asking you about that before the playoffs started.
Well, we've heard, this is really crazy when I've heard Michael Felker and the talking heads nationally right now actually giving Joe Mazzulla credit. Said, Joe, you out-coached Rick Carlisle for a game. Or, Joe, you did this.
Yeah.
So I want him to get his due. I want the Celtics to win. I want Tatum and Brown to win. So the pressure is no longer on them. But then again, once you win, then pressure is on you again because people expect you to repeat. But get through this game first. Tomorrow, come out with a big performance. And then to me, I think it's going to be getting ready for Dallas. I think that's how it's going to be at the end of the day.
That was going to be my next question. So you're giving it to Dallas. I know they're up 2-0. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. By the time this thing is out, we'll know. But you giving it to Dallas? I don't know.
I'm giving it to Dallas because I don't think Minnesota is ready for it right now.
They're young.
One thing they started talking about for a while was Anthony Edwards and saying Michael Jordan.
Yeah, man.
Kendrick Perk was like this. Edwards is the best young leader in the NBA. And now, what happened?
See? That's what happened when you use those words too soon, Max. Because when someone tops that guy you were talking about 2 weeks ago, now what are you going to call it? What's Luka now? Incredible? Unbelievable?
I don't even know.
Unhuman?
Stephen A. Smith, that's what he has said before. Minnesota is going to win the championship. Those boys, the way they play right now, gonna win. Now he's going, so, I mean, it's just crazy.
We slept on Dallas.
Yeah.
That's the new one, right? Well, I guess we overlooked Dallas and Kyrie and Luka Doncic. But, that game winner over the defensive player of the year, man, he's bad for that, man.
That shouldn't happen.
Mouthing off the way he did, too.
No. First of all, the play shouldn't have happened that way because you shouldn't switch. Gobert shouldn't have been in that game. Yeah. You should have had Karl Anthony Towns. And if you Gobert, you say, only thing that can beat me right now is a three. Make him drive towards the basket. Play up on him enough where he has to drive to the basket. You can contest. Not let him dribble back and forth. Get up on his hand. If he goes by you, he goes by you. But he's not going to beat me with a three, and you let him beat you with a three.
Man, that's incredible stuff. Mouthing off, saying all kinds of 4-letter words. He said he was talking in his native tongue, but I don't know how much of I believe that.
I'm not sure the native tongue must be American tongue because you could read.
Must have been mixed in there.
You could clearly read his lips and see what he was saying.
Yeah, Slovakian and in English, right?
Yeah.
A little both in there.
Yeah, Slovakian and South Boston. Maybe that's what that was.
Playoff time, there is nothing like it. I mean, the energy, the effort amps up a good 50 to 75% compared to the regular season. And that's why you want to go to Game Time, the authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA. Now, they make getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. And here's the deal with the Game Time app. The prices of those tickets go down the closer you get to tip-off. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and you can also get the view from your seats with the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. So here's what you should do. You download the Game Time app and you browse it. The closer to Game Time you get, the lower the ticket price is. These are terrific deals for big-time postseason games. Last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last-minute sports, concert, comedy, theater tickets. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows that the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout and also the lowest price guarantee. Or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticket industry. So, take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets at Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CLNS and get $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Kristaps Porzingis continues to work his way back, but no signs of him going to play anytime soon. Ruled out officially for Game 4. I didn't have my hopes up. I know Woj was out there saying this and that. You did?
I had my hopes up.
I wanted to rest up.
No, I had my hopes up for this. That I want Kristaps to come back and play in a game before you maybe possibly
before you get to the finals. Yeah.
Because you cannot simulate in practice what you can do in a playoff situation.
Right.
That's why I wanted him to just get a few minutes on the court. But if he's not ready, obviously he's not ready. And if the Celtics can win without him, you give him more rest, then, that less prone for him to get injured. I love that. But I still wanted him to have an opportunity to at least step on the floor for a minute.
How long do you think that series is going to go between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks?
I don't.
This thing could go the distance, man. I don't know. I'm giving it to Dallas. They've convinced me enough.
You going the distance? I'm saying tonight. If Dallas wins tonight.
Oh no, tonight's a must win for these guys.
If Dallas wins tonight, then
in their house too.
I think it's gonna be a broom. Get some more brooms.
Two brooms in the conference finals.
Yeah, 2 possible sweeps.
And what does that look like for the Boston Celtics in your mind? Not to get too ahead of ourselves, I'm sure we'll get somebody else in here with their opinions on that before the NBA Finals. But how do you like a hypothetical championship matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks?
I would love it. I think that anybody would love it because you have Kyrie Irving coming back into the fold, Luka coming back into the fold. Are we writing Minnesota off? I am, personally. Yeah, but if the team I see that's playing the best basketball between those two teams, and Charles Barkley said it best, he said it's matchups. The matchups aren't good matchups right now for Minnesota.
Right.
He said also that, he felt that Denver would have beat Dallas. The matchups were more favorable, but in this situation, not a favorable matchup. I think the basketball IQ of Dallas, to me, is over the basketball IQ of what Minnesota has.
I always thought Tatum and Luka were destined to be NBA Finals matchup, maybe even a potential rivalry moving forward, but I just didn't think we'd get it this soon. But here we are, man. Celtics 2 wins away. Celtics 1 win away. Dallas Mavericks 2 wins away from the NBA Finals from these two meeting up, man. At this point, I hope it happens. I really do.
I'm excited about the possibilities. So first things first, we'll see what happens tonight.
Take care of business,
but
Boston.
Then we'll see Boston tomorrow. And see if your boy is going to be over there receiving the award, the trophy,
plus we'll see who gets MVP.
Bob Cousy, and the MVP and all that stuff. So it's going to be a possibility of a brilliant day for the Boston Celtics tomorrow.
Who would you predict for an MVP before we get up out of here? Ooh. I know, man. Not to put you on the spot there. There's a few people we can give it
to. If the way they're playing right now, I'd have to go still with Brown.
Okay.
Brown would be the guy, but I tell you who's closing fast. Drew Holiday.
Yeah, man.
Drew Holiday's closing fast on that.
All right. I'm with you there, man. Same thing. I'm going Drew. I'm going Jalen. Especially if he puts together another solid offensive performance in Game 4. But if not, I think I think Drew gets some serious consideration for this series for sure. But we'll see if the Boston Celtics will wrap things up in Game 4. In the meantime, subscribe, like this video.
Yes.
That goes a long way for us. And hit us up for that T-shirt in case the Celtics get this thing done.
Absolutely.
And you'll get it mailed to you. What was that? First 20 you said? First 25?
First 25.
First 25 listeners, viewers. We'll hook you guys up just for tuning in to the Cedric Maxwell podcast. We're out here in Indianapolis. Special episode. I'm Josue Pavone. He is Cedric Maxwell. We'll see what happens. We'll see if the Celtics get it done. And we'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode. See you then.
Josue Pavone here, CLNS Media, and if you made it this far, that means you really like this video. So hit subscribe, make sure you keep our notifications on, damn it, and we got plenty of great content coming your way.